So in my last video, I modified a gun so that I could give myself points on my leader stats, or my players points on my leader stats, when I hit a zombie. In this one, I'm going to do something a little harder. I'm going to use a Roblox Slingshot, and I'm going to add that to the world. And then I'm not going to assume that you guys have a leaderboard, so let me just do one real quick. I'm going to call this leaderboard. And let me go local function, add board, and we'll get the player. We'll just call it BRD for board. Instance, new, and this could be a model or a folder. The parent will be the player. So BRD name, and this must be leader stats. All right, now we'll need points. And I'll just make that an int value. And the parent will be the board. So points name equals points, and points value will be initialized to 0. Let's go ahead and game players, get the players service. Player added event and connect that. So whenever we add a player, we're going to add a board to it. All right, let's just check real quick, make sure we got a board on us. And we do. There it is, points. Okay. So now let's take a look at our slingshot. So the slingshot, I always look at the client first. This is obviously the icon for the mouse. So I'm going to open the client, and I see this mouse loc right here. Let me take a look at that real quick. It's a remote function. So that's how the client and the server talk to each other. That's why a lot of these weapons are broken in the toolbox, because Roblox put a boundary between the client and the server scripts. So you either need to use a remote function or a remote event. So anyway, this one looks like it's invoking on the client, or on client invoke is probably going to give a location for the mouse to slingshot. All right, so I go over here to slingshot, and I'll look here. Let's see what we got here, because that was our mouse loc, right? This is how we communicate. And sure enough, there's an invoke client, and you have to send the player in order to get information from the client. So we get our target position. That's good. We do our fire. Go up here to fire. Boom, with the mouse position. So I don't see any damage anywhere, but I do see pellet, and that looks good. And there's a script. So we're actually setting the pellet script. We're making the parent of the pellet script the pellet. This is disabled, I can tell because it's dark, right? So that's disabled. Let's look at this fire. So here we got a little noise, and when we got a player, that's good. And the player is being assigned to this creator tag. So we're creating an object inside our slingshot that's going to hold the player, and it's going to have a name called creator, and it's going to be the parent of the creator tag is going to be the missile, which is the pellet. And the pellet has the script on it. So let's go to our pellet script, and ooh, look at that. There's the damage I was looking for. But I don't see my player anywhere. What am I going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my player, because I know that the pellet has a creator tag on it. So I'm going to say find first child, and the name was creator. Let me see, because I kind of forgot. Oh yeah, creator tag, creator, and the value of the creator is the player. Ooh, that's a little tricky, right? So there's my player. So I have to go to the value of that is going to be the player. I know, it's a little bit hard. Okay, so now let's see if we can get a board from the player. So we have a player. I'm going to find first child, and I forgot what I was looking for. Oh yeah, leader stats. That's going to be my board. Let's make sure that exists before we do anything with it. We should check to see if points exist, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to say board points dot value. Copy that. Equals the old value plus 1. I got an extra space in there. All right. I'm feeling lucky. So let's go ahead and try this out. There we go. Boom. Oh, look at that. See, I got 3 points, and it's only supposed to be 8 points of damage. But look how much damage you took. That's got to be like 25 points. See that? See all those points being added? I suspect there's something wrong with the pellet script. And what's happening, if you guys have played around with this stuff, is this this touch event, this on touch, is probably hitting multiple parts. So this, although it's only 8 points, it's probably hitting, like, if I just hit the torso, I'll get like 8 points. But if I hit something, let's go ahead and do play from here. I'll show you. And we're going to modify this. We're going to correct that script. Where is my, oh, here it is. So if I go right to the torso, I still got 3 points. So I'm hitting 3 body parts. That's what's happening. If I go to the head, let me go to the neck where there's multiple. Boom. Anyway, I don't know if that's what, I don't know if you can see that in there with that demonstration. But what I'm going to do is I'm only going to let the slingshot do damage 1 time per instance. So we make the pellet every time we shoot it. So what I can do is I can say local can hit equals true. So when we create our script, we clone it and we attach it to the pellet. This is going to be true. And then I'm going to say if humanoid and can hit. The one problem is down here, it looks like you can do damage to non-humanoids. So I'm just going to modify this a little bit. I'm going to say if can hit, then I'm going to put it all in here. And let me do that end here. I'm going to move this in. Now I should only ever inflict 8 points of damage as soon as I make the can hit equals false. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to create our script. We're going to clone it, enable it. This will be true. Our on touch will fire, but for that ball, I can only do damage 1 time because as soon as I do damage to the humanoid, now here I'm letting it go. So this is like for non-humanoid things. Maybe you can damage other stuff in the game. I did not investigate that. But let's check now. Now we should only be getting 1 point at a time. And he should only be getting hurt a little bit. Because the slingshot shouldn't be better than the gun. Nah, it's working. So I'm only getting 1 at a time. So there you go. If you find your slingshot is overpowered, you can make that modification right here. Anyway, I know that this one was a little bit more tricky, and hopefully you're able to follow. The key is finding damage and then finding your character and then getting your board. And all of the different weapons have a little bit of a different nuance to it.